Rusty?
The two-head sword of being number 2 in the nation at one. Everybody thinks you're pretty good, get a lot of talent. Are you at all concerned that the players are aware of that and could believe it, or it could alter how they perform? They think a little bit too much of themselves, but because...
Oh, I'm always worried about that. You see, the question is if because of high expectations that they're think they got some of the answers. I'd be disappointed in our staff if that happened, because then that's what practice is for, and corrections and meeting rooms and meetings, and I don't think we have that problem. I really don't. You know, first of all, we're not that good yet. I'll tell you if I believe we are, and we're not. We have a long way to go, especially in certain areas. So I don't feel that at all.
Front row right, Tim?
Yeah, Urban, just a couple questions. Number one, do you feel like you're coming out of preseason, you talked about this a minute ago, deeper than you thought you would be at offensive line, or what's your take there?
Yeah, well, much deeper. Pat Elflein's a great story. What a worker, what a tremendous kid, tremendous family, just tough. You know, I love that group. So, you know, he's a guy that has really come on. Kyle Dotson's come on. A guy named Darryl Baldwin has come on. Those are all players that a year ago, you know, to think you'd ever let them on the field that in a situation where it counts, that's not going to happen. Darryl Baldwin, a young man from Solon, has really done it. He's one of the most improved players on the team. I don't know if I've even mentioned him. He's what a great kid. What a great kid. No maintenance, nothing other than just hard-working guy that gets great grades and is a wonderful player. Great representative of Ohio State. So he's a guy that you could see him going to the game. I have no problem putting Pat Elflein, Jacoby Boren in the game, and Kyle Dotson's getting close.
And running back, obviously, looking at you would think the top 2 guys aren't available this week. I mean, you know, maybe Jordan's one of those top 2, but what's sort of going to be your plan Saturday with your running backs?
Well, we played...
Accelerate like Wilson and Elliott's.
Well, he is. Jordan Hall's the best running back on our team right now. And so he'll have to lose that spot. I'm talking next week, the week after, whatever. I mean, Jordan Hall, it depends on him. He's a tailback at Ohio State. He's earned that right. Our plan is Breonte Dunn and Warren Ball are the next 2 in, and we want to get Ezekiel in to see how he responds in that kind of environment. I'm not sure how early, but he certainly will be carrying a ball on Saturday. He's earned that right as well. And then same with Dontre Wilson. We'll line up at some tailback positions. So it's really neat to have that many spots, you know, have those choices.
Front row middle, Steve?
Yeah, Coach, I'm doing a story about scheduling, and a lot of us talked about that. You guys are going to 9 games in the future in the conference. I assume you've collaborated with Gene Smith on what you guys want to do. You have 2 night games this year, and I think 1 year down the line you're playing Cincinnati, TCU, and North Carolina. That's a pretty tough schedule. Just talk about the philosophy and what you're doing.
You know, Gene, I really don't get involved that much. We have very few discussions. I have many more issues that I have to deal with about just getting this team ready to play. So I trust we have one of the best ADs in America. I trust him, and he knows more than I do about that kind of stuff. So we'll have conversation, but it's not very long. And like I said, I'm back in that meeting room trying to get our team ready. So I think there is going to be a shift. You know, I really don't understand the playoffs. I really don't. But it's really not my job to understand this. Try to get ready for this game Saturday. So I do think there's a philosophical, I'm not saying shift, but awareness of what's going to be necessary down the road.
2 night games, are you excited about
I'm
that?
really excited. I'm real excited about that, because that's recruiting, especially the night games we have. The earlier games were a hard time. I didn't really realize that, but it was hard to get guys here, because you're leaving at 6 a.m. 7 a.m. to, you know, after a Friday night football game. And a lot of times Saturday, the high school coach has a player come in and get treatments and all that, and the kids can't make the games. Where at night games, you shouldn't have any issue. So really exciting. Plus, I think our atmosphere at night is magical. So.
Front row middle, Doug?
Urban, I guess with Jordan and but the other running backs behind him, how comfortable are you with the things they have to do that aren't running the ball, pass protection?
Jordan's a little smaller, but he's arguably one of the toughest guys pound for pound on our team. So I'm pretty good. Stan Drayton's done a nice job with pass protection, which that is a big part of it. Catching the ball out of the backfield is a big part of it. Jordan's fantastic at that. And the other guys are pretty good too. So we're real comfortable going in this game.
Just in general with that part of it, Braxton, the offensive line, everybody, you've talked in the past about Braxton maybe needing to be a better scrambler, know when to get out of the pocket, with the offensive line protecting him. Just how do you feel about that whole situation, avoiding sacks, making those?
Yeah, feel very good. Fundamentally, he's a much different player than he was this time a year ago. And pocket presence, which includes when it breaks down, getting plus yardage. We're not a very good scrambler. A lot of his most of his yards last year were on designed quarterback runs, and maybe a play that got screwed up. But he was not a very good scrambler. He's much improved.
Couple more questions. Front row, Todd?
Urban, aside from winning, I think there's times last year when you win that you were not real happy about. What does success look like for you Saturday? What puts you in a good mood?
He wants to play well. He wants to play clean. Remember last year, the first quarter was 7-0 after the first quarter, and it should have been worse, could have been worse. So I just didn't think really up until about the third or fourth game that we acted, clean. And so I made this comment many times, is that I just think fundamentally we were 12-0 and some really great things happened, some incredible leadership, motivation, and a team that got really close, which is probably more important than everything. Not probably, it is. But the second most important part is just blocking, tackling, and great football position and all the things that we work so hard at. I mean, we started in January on that. That's a big part of the chase. So I'm hoping we leave that field Saturday, obviously with a win, but you feel good about the fundamentals of your football team. If you do that, then that's a real positive. And we didn't feel that way. It took us a while last year.
Last question, Ben, left.
Yeah. As you've studied Buffalo so far, what's stood out about them?
They got one of the best linebackers. He's number 2 on the board as far as the NFL draft, number 46. Tremendous player. They rush him a lot off the edge. They play a very unorthodox defense. It's called 54 eyes, which means it's all, there's 3-4 and 4-3. This is a version of the 3-4. And they play their defensive tackles inside our tackles, which it just screws up all your blocking schemes. And a real unique coverage called 2-invert, which we haven't seen in a couple of years. So it's just, good thing is we've been working on this for a while. But they're just, it's a pain in the butt. I think they play extremely hard, and they got good players. And there's that staff's been together for a while, so it's not an unprepared team. So I think it's a good team, good players, and a unique scheme that's hard on offense. I think they're going to probably switch up things a little bit. We're not quite sure exactly what we're going to get. They do sometimes shifts in motions, which can always cause you issues. And so I think the first quarter kind of settled down in typical openers. You kind of let, not get too nuts out there and just let things settle down. What are they playing? Find out what they're playing, and then your game plan adjusts, because really you're going off last year's stuff, but a lot of things change. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.